Imagine dedicating a decade of your life to a place you considered home, a place where you built, contributed, and forged relationships, only to wake up one day banned from that very community. That's exactly what happened to me at Valley Ranch Islamic Center. I've been silenced, slandered, and betrayed by people I once called brothers. But why? What could I have possibly done to deserve this? Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on lies, deceit, and manipulation from those who hide behind this veil of piety. By the end of this video, you'll know the truth behind this so-called religious mafia and these deceitful imams. I have been given a notice via email that I am officially banned from the masjid that I have been a part of for this past decade, the Valley Ranch Islamic Center. The same masjid for whom I helped build their website, which they continue to use to this very moment. The same masjid for whom I created videos for their annual fundraisers with the imams and board members coming to my house to work on these efforts. The same masjid I considered my home. But the million dinar question is, why? I must have done something wrong, something really, really bad. Surely they must have some legit reason and justification to ban me from the masjid premises. I mean, even the hypocrites in the time of the Prophet ﷺ were not banned from the masjid. Think about that. Not even the hypocrites in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. 2 weeks before being officially banned, I received an email from the VRIC board giving me a 2 weeks warning and setting forth an ultimatum. They accused me of making false accusations and slanderous statements about its leadership. They demanded that I remove my videos from YouTube and that I issue a public apology to those that were allegedly wronged and to the entire VRIC community. I immediately responded, reiterating their complete and utter refusal to investigate and look into the false information, lies, and slander that originated from within the masjid leadership. I asked them to provide a detailed list of any and all false statements that they allege that I had made. After all, how can they expect someone to issue an apology when bringing forth such vague accusations against them? I asked them 4 detailed elements. Number 1, the name or organization. Number 2, what is that false accusation or slanderous statement? Number 3, a reference of where this accusation or statement was made, meaning the time, location, or even any witnesses. Number 4, proof that this was in fact false or slanderous. It shouldn't come to surprise anyone, but there was absolutely no response. There was no merit to their baseless and frivolous accusations. But what could you possibly expect from the same leadership that has been persistent in covering up their lies and wrongdoings? And that's why today you're going to witness the hard and shocking truth behind these chain of events. But before I elaborate, for those that may not have the attention span to make it through this expose, I want to preface with my concluding remarks. Yaser Birjas is a liar. Omar Suleiman is a liar. And the Valley Ranch Masjid leadership are all complicit in facilitating these lies and slander. You are about to realize the truth behind this veil of piety and innocence that this religious mafia hide behind. And yes, mafia is a term used by many people in our community who have been wronged, including ex-board members and volunteers. Just last year, there was a coordinated swatting attack against me, with the police breaking into my home at 6:25 a.m. as I was sound asleep. They arrested me, searched my home, and released me after realizing there was no substance to the 911 call that was made, stating that I had just stabbed a woman, that I had a gun, and that I was going to shoot myself. Not only did they search my entire home, but also took a few minutes to search through my phone, essentially clearing me from any possibility of having anything to do with this. Just minutes after the police left, I didn't call my wife, I didn't call my mother, I didn't call my children, I didn't call anyone from my family. Instead, I sent a text message with the video footage of the police directly to the imams of my community, Yaser Birjas and Omar Suleiman, both with whom I have had a long-standing relationship with. These are imams that would come over my house for dinner, would work with me on multiple projects, and especially with Omar Suleiman, someone who I considered my best friend for years, all for the sake of Allah. And so they were the first ones I texted seeking help, seeking assistance, while being in a state of shock from what had just happened. All of this was just a day after I had published a website, behindveils.com, exposing the lies, deceit, the slander, the false accusations, and many more of the egregious acts by my ex-wife Dunya Shuaib, all in an effort to demonize me in the community while trying to cast herself as a poor victim. Hashtag crocodile tears. As detailed in my previous videos, Yaser Birjas never responded to me. Instead, he responded to another brother in the community stating that he had talked to the police and that they have a whole different story. And that's exactly what we are going to uncover today with evidences from the police. Number one, Yaser Birjas relayed that he spoke with the police, and according to Yaser's story, the officer provided a verbal report stating that they traced the call and that it came from my house. As you listen to what I am about to share, pay close attention to what he claims the police told him.
I called the police to go and assist and help. We came basically with a report that's saying the call came from your house. I got the call. The moment you called, in regard to this issue, we said, guys, we have a situation here. We need to make sure that, everything is okay. We got the call, so I got actually the report, not the report, at least the verbal actually, report from the police saying that they traced the calls, eventually it came from your place.
Subhanallah, you heard it straight from the Imam, Yaser Birjas. I want you to forge that into your memory. The police traced the call and that it came from my house. Number two, Omar Suleiman mentioned to a well-known brother in our community, who is also a part of the security team at the masjid, that according to Omar, the police told them that I swatted myself.
Allah SWT gave me the opportunity to talk to Sheikh Omar today, and I heard briefly for 50 minutes his side of the story. And that's when he said, basically, to answer the main question that you posed, why was nothing done, right? Why were your messages ignored? He said a couple of things. One of them, he said, because the police told him, again, he's saying the same thing. The police told him that he swatted himself. And then I said, yeah, but Salman told us that there's no one to be found in the police report.
Subhanallah. I want you to forge that into your memory as well, that Omar Suleiman claims that the police told them that I swatted myself. Number three, in a private meeting I had back in March with the Masjid Board of Trustees, Ihab Sabri reiterated the exact same message, conveying that this is what the police had relayed. I asked him why they keep covering and concealing the identity of this officer under the pretense of confidentiality, especially when the Irving police have a completely contradicting narrative, and why they refuse to request evidence from this officer. His only concern was his effort to get me to acknowledge that, quote, our sheikh did not lie. He even suggested that we go have breakfast together with Imam Yaser Birjas, mend things so that we can show the community that we can come together right before Ramadan, completely dismissing and disregarding everything. Subhanallah, I do not understand the demented logic and mentality of these people. What was he expecting? That I would just be like, oh yeah, let's brush the lies and deception under the carpet. Let's put it behind us. Let's go hug, have a photo op, hold hands, and sing a Kumbaya Nasheed together? I swear, I don't know what delusional world they are living in. Subhanallah. Despite mentioning to Yaser Birjas and even to the masjid boards that I have evidences that contradict their testimony, they had no interest to hear and see the evidences. In fact, they refused to do any type of investigation despite dozens and dozens of people from around the world emailing them and demanding they initiate one, and despite me questioning them at a General Assembly meeting.
Is Valley Ranch Islamic Center, the board of directors and the board of trustees, willing to open up a proper investigation in regards to this?
Can you get him the mic up? And then I will answer. And then I will answer the question. Can you get him the mic up? The answer is no.
I want to pause here for just a moment. Let this sink in until you fully register what was relayed to the entire masjid security team, along with community members, by Yaser Birjas, by Omar Suleiman, and by the VRIC boards. As you just heard, they clearly state that they were told the police traced the call and that I had swatted myself. If you need to rewind to just reaffirm that, please take a moment to do so. Which brings us to Detective Parker from the Irving Police Department. He was in charge of my entire case and even consulted the FBI, whom I had called soon after in order to initiate a case with them on these swatting attack, identity theft, cyber attacks, and harassment against me and my family. I called Detective Parker demanding to know why the police had allegedly relayed that the call came from my house. Let's hear what he had to say. On that day, what the imam of our mosque claims is that he spoke with somebody from the police. I believe he said that he got a call from the police, and they said that the call came from my house.
No, that's not true at all. I don't know where they got that information, but that did not come. It's one of those internet phone numbers, and then it was deleted, and it was under false you know what I mean? It's created under false pretense. So I don't know who said that.
Absolutely. And so what's
that's
really
false. Nothing in there about that at all. I didn't speak, and it's been a while. I've talked to a lot of people, but no, I did not speak to any imam from the. So I don't know what they're talking about, but it's definitely not in my report. You can sue them in civil court for defamation of character.
Yeah.
The civil litigations of that can be, and then use the reports. As like saying, "Hey, here's the reports," and they can subpoena me to a civil court and say, "Hey, did you? No, never spoke to that person. Nope, never spoke to the. For civil remedies."
He never spoke to any imam. It is not true at all. It is completely false. And he even knows that the call came from an internet phone number that was later deleted. On top of that, why on God's earth would the lead detective recommend that I file and pursue a civil lawsuit against the masjid and these imams, and then willfully volunteer to come testify against them? Let's jump into the police report. Here we can see that while the police were establishing a secure perimeter around my house just 10 minutes prior to breaking through my front door, they identified the fact that the call came from a voice over IP number. For those that are not familiar, that is a virtual number through the internet and not a cell phone or landline. Detective Parker further elaborates on this by saying that the sergeant determined the phone number used to coordinate the swatting call originated from TextNow, an application used over the internet to make calls. He goes on to detail the fact that he went to the Dallas County Criminal Court and sought a warrant in front of a judge to subpoena TextNow for the details on the caller. After emailing the warrant to TextNow, they received the name and date of birth of the one who was hired to coordinate the calls. And let me make this abundantly clear: for the masjid boards, for the masjid security team, for Yaser Birjas, for Omar Suleiman, and for all their loyalist cronies who blindly parroted their lies, my name is not Marshall McAllister. And as you can see from the report, 470-441-0822, the number from which the call originated, I can officially, positively, unequivocally state with absolute, full, assertive, emphatic confidence that is not my phone number. So for Yaser Birjas, who specifically claimed that the police told him that they traced the call back to me, you are a liar. For Omar Suleiman, who relayed the same garbage, you are a liar. For the board members who refused to investigate and go through these evidences, you are complicit in these crimes. Shame on all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala humiliate and disgrace all of you for the slander and lies that spread throughout the community, for conspiring to cover up and shield these imams from any form of accountability, and for refusing to address my concerns and allegations of wrongdoing for well over a year. There's a reason why you refuse to investigate. There's a reason why you refuse to share any details and instead cited confidentiality to protect this phantom police officer. You see, there's a reason why I waited for over a year to release all of these indisputable evidences that are in clear contradiction to the false narratives that was cast against me. It's because I tried to deal with this issue directly with the masjid instead of making it a public ordeal. Allah gave you all multiple chances, but your egos, your arrogance, your false perception of being collectively in power, this is why Allah has willed for you all to be exposed today. For my own community at Valley Ranch, if you want to remain quiet, for the injustice and retaliation from the VRIC board for me speaking the truth in an effort to defend my honor and my dignity, and to stay quiet about their bullying tactics by banning a member of this community from the house of Allah, I ask Allah, the Lord of that house, to have this written in your records and to be presented on the day of judgment in front of everyone, including your spouse, including your parents, including your children, that you remain silent despite the truth coming to light. For all the imams and colleagues of these two so-called shuyukh that want to give a blind eye to these liars, may the world, may your family, and may your friends see you for who you really are. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you to see the two-faced nature of what you preach versus what you practice. As for the rest of the world, every time you see these two men, let them be known as liars. Let it be known that the board was complicit in covering up for their lies. This is malice, this is evil, and this is a betrayal of our religion. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, can a believer be a coward? He said, yes, they can be a coward. Then it was asked whether a believer could be a miser. He replied, yes, he can be a miser. It was then asked whether a believer could be a liar. He replied, no, a believer cannot be a liar. This, my brothers and sisters, is part 1 of the VRIC saga. And for those of you who have been blinded and in a state of defiance up to this point, I hope you take it seriously now when I say there is a lot more to come.